Good morning, my fellow yoga travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too. Shameless marketing to begin with. We have opened up the registration for our 25th anniversary Mexico vacation in Puerto Morales in Villa Shanti. Looking forward to having a great group again this year. And so that's going to be the last week in February and the first week in March. You can go to my website, gabrielhalpern.com, and see all the information there. And so I hope that some of you will come and join us. We're continuing my talk about gurus, people who've been influential, and I keep mentioning what I call the non-dualist gurus, like Nisargadatta Maharaj. But today I'm going to talk about Ramana Maharshi, a very interesting person in Indian history. When he was a teenager, he just lied down on his floor and just went into like Shavasana, but actually felt like, I'm dead. And then when he got up, he felt like he was so changed that he just left his family's home and went to the local mountain where he stayed for the next 40 years plus, just dispensing wisdom. People from all over the world came to experience something that is a rarity, someone who's not just a mere accumulation of words or concepts, heaps of verbiage, as he would say, the mind constantly accumulating things, heading off to something in the future. And he was a person who, very similar to the Upanishads, where the simple injunction is tattvamasi, thou art that, is the positive way of saying it, but also the neti neti, the not this and not that. That's where it really comes from, when you negate everything. And so that's his teaching. Sometimes it's called vichara atman, the inquiry into the self. Sometimes it's called nanyar, who am I? And this is the amazing idea which, in a certain way, cuts through all the other practices that we do, which in a certain way postpone. You know, I'm always talking about how we're postponing things because we're taking the practice as if it's something that's going to happen in the future, constantly reinforcing what we don't have right now. And as I said, I think it's just like the left brain. How can it admit what it doesn't know? So out of humility, you have to assume that you're doing these things that's going to unfold over time. But the right brain is very different. It presents the whole path in a very different way. And so if you're going to do this self-inquiry, here's what he says. This is really great. Through constant inquiry, one should make the mind stay in its source without allowing it to wander away or get lost in the mazes of thought created by itself. All other disciplines, this is the one that, is hard to get, but here's how he's not fooling around. All other disciplines, such as breath control and meditation on the forms of God, should be regarded as auxiliary poses. They're useful insofar as they help the mind become quiescent, and one-pointed. But the self-inquiry is supposed to take you into what they call the silence, where there's no thought whatsoever, no even arising of the idea of I, me. And so every time a thought arises, his suggestion is to say, to whom does this thought arise? And then your mind is going to come up with a lot of different ideas, concepts, words, and he's going to tell you to do this. And this is the original teaching from when he first got to the mountain, recorded by a philosophy professor. Who am I? The gross body has 7 humors, dhatus. I am not that. The 5 cognitive sense organs, hearing, touch, taste, sight, smell, which apprehend their respective objects, I am not that. I am the 5 cognitive organs of action, organs of speech, locomotion, grasping, excreting, and enjoying. I am not that. The 5 vital airs, or the pranas, which perform their respective functions in breathing. I am not that. I am not even the mind which thinks. I am not even my ignorance, which is endowed only with the residual impressions of the past. There are no other objects that I can relate to. I am not that. I am not this thought. I am not my memory. I am not my future projection. What are you left with? You back yourself out of the room, and then you even let go of the thought, I am not the thought I. What are you left with? Well, that's vichara atman. And as long as we're distracted and are pursuing other things, and don't do this kind of inquiry according to Ramana Maharshi. We can't see the false as false. Tomorrow I'll also talk about Krishnamurti, another teacher who does the same thing. We may not be able to say what is true. This is like the negative aspect of mysticism. We can't define it positively. We can only say what it isn't. And if we could come up with enough things that negate everything that it isn't, what we would be left with, that would be it. So says the non-dualist teachers. Put that in your pipe and smoke it for today, because that's one that's also a little bit beyond me. It feels really good, but boy, do I keep coming back and clinging to those thoughts that give me a sense of identity and separateness. But also that's where the suffering comes from, because that's the part of me that's in time, it's going to change, it's not permanent. And since no thought is eternal, gotta let go of all those thoughts. Have a great day. And by the way, I have a new webcam and a new microphone. I hope that the quality of the recording and the visual is even better. And I thank my brother Mark Brower for helping me to set this up. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow.